Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I want to talk to you about some of the news that we have heard in the past few days. Unfortunately, they are all very sad news. But I remember it was only a few months ago we were talking about the earthquakes that happened in Turkey, and close to 70,000 people lost their lives overnight. So now we have obviously the Morocco earthquake that you have probably all heard about. And again, death toll over 2,900. And obviously the counts keep going higher and higher, as you know, because over there in these countries, they don't count, they don't have good head counts of people in some of these areas. So let's look at some of the statistics together. And these are the most recent statistics from yesterday. So injuries have more than doubled to 5,530 people, and then roads devastated. And as you saw, obviously, about 3,000 people so far are believed to have died from this earthquake. But unfortunately, that's not all for the Islamic countries. There was also a severe flooding that happened in the country of Libya. And Libya, as you know, is a war-torn country already. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives due to war, and over 10,000 people are believed as of now to have died. Let's watch this video together very quickly.
And destruction in Libya at the hands of Mother Nature. The Red Cross now says up to 10,000 people are feared dead after a storm slammed into the country's east, unleashing a devastating surge of floodwaters that swept away entire neighborhoods, leaving nothing but wreckage in its path. A spokesperson for the country's armed forces says 5,000 to 6,000 people are missing in a single city after floodwaters broke through dams in Derna. Now bodies covered in blankets are laid out along a sidewalk outside of a medical complex. Horrific evidence of the storm's indiscriminate brutality. This volunteer pleading for God's protection, saying we are still looking for the victims. We call on all young Libyans, anyone who has a degree or any medical experience, to please come and help us. We do not have enough nurses, he says. We need help. The exact death toll is difficult to know. The health minister for eastern Libya says that's because they believe bodies are still trapped under the rubble. And when the floodwaters receded into the Mediterranean Sea, some bodies went with it.
Thousands of people have lost their lives, thousands of people have lost their homes, and thousands of families are stranded or lost.
But the people who live here have already been waiting in agony for days, many forced to take matters into their own hands, digging graves, piling into dinghy boats, searching for the bodies of their neighbors, and praying for an ounce of hope in an ocean of utter devastation.
If you truly believe in all divine books, including the Torah, the books of the prophets, the Gospels, in that case, you know that nothing happens without Allah's permission. Quran says that very specifically to us, that a leaf does not fall from a tree unless Allah knows that there is. And everyone who dies, no one dies except by Allah's permission. So that's very clear that everything that happens according to the will of our Creator and by His permission. So why do all these things constantly, and mostly, I would say 90% of the time, if not more, happen in Muslim countries? So Quran tells us why. Let's read the verses of the Quran together, and you're going to know why. So let's look at verse number 65 of chapter 6. It says, He is the one, our Creator is the one able to send upon you affliction. Here they have translated an affliction. In Arabic, actually, is adab. Adab means punishment. So adab means punishment. Remember, the Quran never uses the word natural disasters, things like that. All of these are punishments, are adab. They are punishment. It says a punishment من فوقكم, from above you, أو من تحت أرجلكم, or from beneath you. So when you have, for example, when you have a hurricane or a storm that comes and destroys from above, or you have an asteroid or a heavenly body that hits the earth, this is punishment that comes from above. And when you have an earthquake, it comes from beneath, right? I just want to make sure you know what it's talking about. And then it says, ow, or to confuse you into sects, to divide you. Again, I don't know. Ayalbethakum shay'a. Basically, it causes you to become sects, divides you into sects. For example, Sunni sects, Shia sects, all these sects that we have. And then vayuziqa ba'dakum ba'sa ba'd. It causes you to make the violence, taste the violence of each other. Basically, our Creator divides you into sects and then causes you to fight with each other. Just exactly like what happened in Islam, right? Shia Sunni war that has been going on. That's this verse. يَلْبِسَكُمْ شَيْئًا وَيُضِيقَ بَعْضَكُمْ بَأْسَ بَعْضٍ. What is that? It's divide you into sects and causes you to war with each other. So all this Shia Sunni war that has been going on for centuries, that's this verse. That's here. This is a punishment that Allah actually mentions in the Quran. And interestingly, in this verse, Quran is talking to all of those who believe in the Quran, giving them a message that this is how Allah punishes you. Will send you punishment from above or from beneath, or divides you into sects and causes you to fight each other, civil wars, countries fighting each other, animosities between the sects, which is the exact same thing that is happening right now, correct? So what you see in Libya, what you saw in Turkey, what you see in Morocco, these are punishments from our Creator. And then let's look at verse number 31 of chapter 13, and I'm going to just read from here. It says, وَلَا يَذَالُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, those who disbelieved do not cease to be struck for what they have done by calamity, or it will descend near their places constantly until there comes the promise of Allah. So basically, Allah is giving a promise in the Quran about those who disbelieved in the book. And Allah says that these people, تُصِيبُهُمْ بِمَا صَنَعُوا قَارِعَةً. What is qari'ah? Qari'ah means when you knock someone, you hit something really hard. So an earthquake is a major example of a qari'ah, because it's just somebody's being knocked. It's as if you're punching the earth and the earth starts shaking. So basically it's saying there will always, these people who disbelieved in the Quran, always a calamity, a disaster, a knocking disaster, a qari'ah will hit them. Or alternatively, تَحُلُّ قَرِيبًا مِنْ دَارِهِمْ, or a qari'ah will hit close to their land. So they're going to have natural, what we call today as natural. There's no natural disaster. Everything in the world, this is Allah's creation, is happening according to God's will. So these disasters, these calamities constantly will hit them until the promise of Allah comes. So this is the reason, up until this ummah, up until these countries, these Islamic countries, repent and return to the book of Allah, because remember, these people disbelieved. Their fathers disbelieved in the Quran, and they started following what they call as hadith. And what is hadith? Hadith is nothing but hearsay, rumors, he said, she said. So no one knows what it is. This satanic insinuation. But so they have disbelieved in the Quran. How? Some of you might say, how do they disbelieve in the Quran? They perform their salah incorrectly. Their fasting is not correct. Their calendar is not correct. Their month of Ramadan is wrong. The Hajj, the pilgrimage that they perform is not correct. They don't do the pilgrimage according to the Quran. And they don't even perform the pilgrimage where Allah wants them to perform it. They have changed the location of the original true Mecca. And they have idols, stone idols set up in current Mecca in Saudi Arabia that they worship in there. And they call their God Akbar. They say our Allah is Akbar. So up until this Ummah repents and returns to the book of Allah, to the message that is so clearly laid out in this book for us to read and understand and believe in. This ummah, these people, they have to wake up. They have to repent. They have to return. They have to abandon the religion of their fathers and follow the religion of their creator. So you might ask why that doesn't happen to China or to the West or to the America or to the Europe. Why doesn't it happen? Because Quran was not sent to them. These people have not been warned by the Quran. But when you go to the Middle East, these people read the Quran. The current Muslims read the Quran and disbelieve in it. They read the verses about the months, the forbidden months, the haram months, or months of Hajj. They disbelieve in it. They read the verses about the Salah. They disbelieve in it. They read the verses about fasting of Maryam, Zechariah, they disbelieve in it. They say they're in the month of Ramadan, and Ramadan means early rains, first rains at the beginning of fall. But they disbelieve in it. They speak that language, but they disbelieve in it. So every day they're disbelieving in Allah's verses. Every day they're disbelieving in our Creator. And this is how they're going to get punished. And this is going to be ongoing, unfortunately, up until the promise of Allah comes. Peace and blessings to all of you.